name is Cynthia Wakio. I'm the Communication and Events Manager here at Corporate Staffing Services. Today I'm joined by our HR expert, Mr. Pamina Swainaina, who's going to be taking us through the HR policies service we offer here at Corporate Staffing. Karibu sana, Paminas.
Thank you for having me, Cynthia.
All right, thank you for making the time. So, Paminas, what are HR policies and why are they important to an organization?
So thank you, Wakio. So when it comes to the relationship between employer and an employee, the relationship is governed by two very important, I would say, regulations, so to speak. So number one, you have the laws, the labor laws. So, and a good one, which is most people are familiar with, it's the Employment Act, which is currently 2007. Then we have, so this is, the laws are set by the government. The parliament goes through the processes and then they set the law. They agree this is the way employers and employees should relate. But now then we have HR policies. So HR policy, think about it, it's an internal document that an employer comes up with to govern the relationship between now the employee and the employer. And the reason is not everything, the law does not cater for everything. For example, there's nowhere you see in the labor laws that, Cynthia, you're supposed to wear this way. But now in my organization, I can come and say, all the ladies, they should be wearing trousers. And so by the time you join corporate staffing, you know that is a requirement. I can also come and say, well, as our working hours is 8:30 to 5:30. And those are 8 hours. The other institutions which have 8 to 5, the others who even maybe someone comes at 10 a.m., they leave even at 7 p.m. So you find there's some scenarios which the law either is flexible on, and you want to make sure that you're very specific in your organization, or they're not addressed by the Employment Act or the labor laws, and you want to make sure that the employees adhere to that. So in short, a HR policy is a very important document because number one, it speaks of the behavior. What do you expect of your employees to do? Number two, it guides the managers to ensure there's objectivity. For example, in your HR policy, you can have a policy on recruitment and you say, for us, we don't hire friends, family members cannot work together. For example, I know of banks where they say if you're a couple, you cannot work in the same department. And the minute you become a couple, one of you has to be even transferred to another branch. So that is not in anywhere in the Employment Act. So this bank has decided this is the way we want to run our business. Yeah.
You have highlighted some of the importance. Is this document mandatory, and what are the dangers of not having one?
Good. So the HR policy, you can make it as broad as you want. So it can be as many pages. It can even be like 5,000 pages. So you find us, when we are helping an organization, we want to understand what is importance to you. And then that's where we narrow, that's where we focus. For example, corporate staffing, we don't have motor vehicles here. I'm using as examples. So there's nowhere you see a motor vehicle policy. However, there are institutions, the organizations, especially if you're in FMCG distributorship, where you have like 50 cars out there and staff members have those cars. So you can come up with a motor vehicle policy where you can say, we've given you this car, this is where you fuel, this is where you go get spare parts. At night, you don't go maybe with a car at home. After 6:30 p.m., you take it to the police station, or we've given you this car, it's yours even over the weekend, and take care of everything. Yeah. So yes, it all depends with the organization, and you have to customize to fit the organization needs. However, there are two policies that the law speaks about. One is sexual harassment policy. So if you have over 20 staff in your organization, you're supposed to have one. Then also disciplinary process. Although the law is not quite strict on this, it would be important for you to have one, such that now if you're taking a staff through the disciplinary process and you don't want to have court issues and all that, then the staff is guided by that. And even also the management is also guided by that. Yeah.
All right. So you've handled several HR policies. You've drafted a lot of them. When clients come to you, some of the things that they encounter, what do you see in your experience?
I think whenever they are coming to us, I would say 90% of the client is because they have a problem. They've encountered a problem. People are coming late. People are not they're not being productive, or people are abusing some of the privileges that are offered to them. I'll give you an example, something as simple as leave days. There are two ways to go about it. You can have a cordial relationship where the staff says, I want to go for leave, they give notice, and things work. So someone doesn't come and tell you in the morning or the night before, they don't send you a text the night before telling you they're going for leave. So if there's a cordial working relationship, you may find you may not even have that worded in a HR policy. And this, if you're a small organization, you may not encounter that. But consider where you have 20, 30, 40, 50 staff, and you as a director or manager, you don't have a relationship with every staff member. So you'd want to tell everyone, for example, if it's leave, if you're going for annual leave, you need to apply like 7 days before. You need also to specify who will be taking over when you are away during the leave. You need to all what kind of annual leave are you applying? So all those. So a HR policy would help. It helps also for you to be as specific as possible. It speaks even to the process and the steps that someone is supposed to undertake whenever they are doing something. Yeah.
Then having a HR policy in place already then helps you govern these issues rather than, being proactive or reactive rather.
It does. And in a great way, it makes business and systems and processes easy for both the employer and the employee. Because when you join an organization, you're given a HR policy, you go through it, you understand. Yes. For example, that issue of leave that I was talking about, if the HR policy says, we don't carry over our leave days, you're supposed to talk to your manager, you plan on how to go leave, then you know it's there. Yes. If it's the disciplinary process, if I do this, I'll get the first warning, second, third warning. So it's like you said at the beginning, look at it as a constitution, as a reference point. Yeah. It also makes sure that the managers, they also don't overstep. Because, whenever people are engaging with each other, there's a bit of emotions involved. And things can go down south very quickly. But if a manager knows, well, this person is at fault, but I'm supposed to give them a warning letter, another warning letter. So why would you be there shouting? Yeah. Because you just do it by the book, and the process is outlined. Yeah. So I would say a HR policy, it's a document every organization should have. For me, if you have over 10 staff members, then it's a document to start thinking about seriously.
Yeah. And why use corporate staffing for the service?
Well, two things. Number one, we are accredited HR firm, so you're already dealing with experts. We are accredited by IHRM. This is the body that governs the HR profession in Kenya. The firm and I have a practicing license. So that means any advice we are giving you is sound advice. The other advantage is that for us, we've done the policies for various industries. We've done for NGO, we've done for public sector, we've done for small organizations, we've done for multinationals, we've even done for foreign companies. So with that, we're able to advise you. And this is what I would tell you. Apart from you going online and coming up with a document, which you just change the name, come up with something customized, because you know your organization. So sometimes when clients approach us, they tell us, oh, why is it taking 1 month, 1.5 months to come up with the HR policy? But we customize it to match your needs, because no two organizations are the same. And let me tell you, if you have something in the HR policy and you don't adhere to it, the employee can also sue you, because you're contravening your own constitution. Yeah. So if you go just download something in the internet, you start using it, you hadn't reviewed, then you can see the danger you're putting yourself into. Is it okay for you to borrow? You can borrow. You can look at the best practices and come up with a document. But at the end of the day, make sure that it's highly customized to meet your needs. Yeah.
And any success stories from previous clients?
There are many success stories, but before I even come to the success stories, I would want to say also, if you reach out to us, there's a free consultation meeting. We don't charge you just because you've written an email to us. So the meeting affords us a chance to get to know you better. What are you looking to achieve with the HR policy? What are the gaps? And be able to advise you further. In fact, in terms of success stories, like I said, we've been able to support, I would say, year to date, over 200 employers. And one that stands out is so this manufacturing firm. They have 60 staff members and they had a lot of turnover. And the reason they had turnover is because the managers were making ad hoc decisions. And the MD called us on board to help streamline. So the HR policy, we included everything: performance management, KPIs, targets, recruitment process, how do you go about it, leave management, all those in that document. So now it was very easy to put the managers, everyone to be accountable, the employees and the management. And this improved the relationship very well.
Yeah. And an employer looking at this video and they would like to take up this service, what would you advise them and what are the next steps?
The next step is that they fill the form. Then one of our officers will reach out, we'll organize for a meeting. And during the meeting, it's a brief meeting. It's for us to get to understand you. Where are you coming from? What are the challenges? How can we be able to help you? Do you even have a HR policy? At times we meet clients who have what I call a shell of a HR policy. So we see, do we need to draft something new or do we need to start from scratch? Yeah. So it's to get a better understanding of who you are in there, what you are looking for, what are the challenges, and come up with a document that you'll be able to serve you. And I must say at this point, when you're coming up with a HR policy, we look at three things. Number one, it's the law, because we don't want to come up with a document which is contra to the law.
Yes.
Yeah. Number two is we look at the management wishes. So what do you as a manager want for your organization? And so long as it's not contravening with the law, we'll have it there. And number three, we look at the best practices based on your industry, based on your sector. And this is where our experience counts, because if you're an NGO, we're able to advise you. This is how other NGOs are doing. If you're a manufacturing firm, we're also able to advise you. Yeah. So next step, get in touch, fill the form. We'll have a meeting. It's free. You can either come to our office or you can come to your office. And then when we agree, we start working on the policies. And what we do, every time we are done with a segment, we send it to you for review. You give us feedback. If you're okay, we move to the next step. And then after we are done with the document, we train down the managers. It's part of the package. Like now, next week, I'll be in Mombasa. I'm training a client who we did for a HR policy. I'm meeting now the management team because I've been talking to two of the directors. Yeah.
All right. That's very thorough.
It has to be, because now you're talking about the future of the business.
Yeah. And I think what I've picked out is it's a reference point. Employees and employers can look at, they can be on the same page, and it also helps protect your business.
Precisely.
All right. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much for watching this video. As you've heard from our HR expert, HR policies are important when it comes to protecting your business, and you ensure that you're on the same page with your employees. Remember, we are here for you. All you need to do is leave us with your details in the form below, and our HR consultant will reach out to you to take you to the next step. Thank you so much, and see you next time.